One, Mr. Hawkins with Hawkins Tech, and welcome to my live stream. Today is a very important day for my YouTube channel. I'm going to try to go live for at least 2 hours. If you guys are not aware, I'm going to be watching this back on my iPhone. Or my iPad, rather. But today is the anniversary of my YouTube channel, Hawkins Tech. I have officially been on YouTube for an entire year now. And they've updated the live stream here. Let me just turn down my brightness on my iPad. So, we have a lot to talk about. Quite a lot of things to talk about. I got one comment so far. Seems like one person is in the live stream. But welcome to my live stream. Welcome to the 1-year anniversary of Hawkins Tech. I was thinking maybe I should react to my first video I did on this channel, which is iOS 18.1 really nice update. So I'm going to go ahead and, but I'm going to turn it down so I don't get, if it's an advertisement. Not sure why they put those on my videos. Hi everyone, Mr. Hawkins here, and I've been using iOS 18.1 for almost 3 weeks at this point. And in this video, I'm going to give you my overall experience on iOS 18.1. Now, I will say, this is the first video I have done on this channel. It was iOS 18.1, really nice update. And since then, I've been doing a lot of these type of videos and iOS coverage. Now, one thing about that is, around the time I first started my channel, and even into this year as well, I haven't installed betas. But that changed. As you can see, I am a beta tester. Now, I don't test all of the betas. The thing that I like to do is test late stage betas. So, iPadOS 26.2 Beta 2 is out, but I am not updating to that beta. But I am definitely interested in the technology that I cover. And you guys also might have known that I am posting on another platform, X, formerly known as Twitter. I am posting on X, formerly Twitter. I don't post much on here, but it's another way to make my channel get more subscribers, hopefully. And as you can see here, I am using the new windowing system that is in iPadOS 26. That's one of the new updates to multitasking, is we have an all-new windowing system on the iPad. And of course, I have my TikTok as well. So I'm going to react to this video that I did a year ago today, and that is iOS 18.1 really nice update. I'm going to talk about the battery life, battery health, and performance, and at the end of the video, I'm going to share the Geekbench score that I ran before this video. But first, a little bit of news. Yesterday, Google released Google Gemini on the App Store. Seems like I'm getting some comments. I'm going to make a video tomorrow explaining some of its functionalities and what you can do with it. Now, as far as my performance on iOS 18.1, I've been using this update for almost 3 weeks, probably close to a month. If the stream is lagging for you guys, you can let me know in the chat. Different apps, but I'm not quite sure how I can fix that. Music loads up nice and fast. As far as the battery life on this update, battery health is still at 85%. Well, my battery health is definitely not there anymore. I'm getting 1 hour, 49 minutes screen on time, 20 minutes screen off time. Take a look at yesterday's battery health. I've gotten 12 hours, 56 minutes screen on time, 33 minutes. Hold on, let me take a look at the comment really quickly here. If only I had a second device to test this on. Hold on a minute. Let me look at that comment really quickly here. I'll come back to that video in just a second. Hold on a minute. Okay. Off time, which is probably using it while it's charging. Now, if I go to the Geekbench score, you can see here, we scored 2,083 single core, 4658 for multi-core. If I compare that to when I ran it last weekend, we scored 2,079 for single core, 4,610 for multi-core. As far as what to expect next from Apple, well, this is the first video I uploaded here. 18.2 Developer Beta 4, probably the week of November 18th. Apple seems to like to release their updates on a Monday, so it's possible we can expect it then. Then, the week of Thanksgiving, probably the first 2 days of that week, the 25th or the 26th, I'm guessing the 25th, you can expect iOS 18.2 RC. And iOS 18.2 is bringing the new Mail app and a lot of other features. Older devices are getting the new Mail app. However, we're not getting Apple Intelligence. I use an iPhone 12. And that still hasn't changed. Then on December 2nd is when I would expect iOS 18.2 to release. It's possible we could get it a little bit later and have the RC on the 2nd and a 5th beta on the 25th. But according to Mark Gurman, he states December 2nd is when iOS 18.2 will drop. And when that day comes, I will make a video talking about all the changes in iOS 18.2. I'm Mr. Hawkins, and that's my follow-up on iOS 18.1. I'll see you guys later. Peace.
Just because you look like you work at a...
So that was the first video that I uploaded to my YouTube channel. And here is the latest video. Hi, everyone. Mr. Hawkins with Hawkins Tech, and iOS 26.1 has been out to the general public for about a couple weeks at this point. And in this video, So I've done a lot of videos. I'm going to go to some of the videos where I reviewed my iPhone 12. Should you buy the iPhone 12 going into 2026? And is this device still worth it? Hi everyone, Mr. Hawkins with Hawkins Tech. And in this video, I'm going to talk about if the iPhone 12 is still... If you guys do want to ask me questions, you can in the live stream. Worth it going into 2026. I'm going to talk about how my iPhone 12 has held up, which is this one here, and what things you should consider. Now, as far as the overall design of the iPhone 12, this device does feature the squared off edges. This does have the squared off edges here. And this phone does also have flat side. So I make a lot of videos on the iPhone 12. Let's go to this video here. Hi, everyone. Now, this is my home screen on iOS 26. I don't use Snapchat, but I'm planning on trying it out. But this was a video I made for another Mr. update. Hawkins with Hawkins Tech. And today, Apple released iOS 26.2 Beta 2. I wasn't quite sure if we would get this update this week, but quite surprising, we did. Now, I did not install this beta, but since I do have the developer beta account, I went to my beta updates and it showed up. And the file size of the update is about 7.87 gigabytes. That is on my iPhone 12 in product red. This update was released alongside iPadOS 26.2 Beta 2, macOS 26.2 Beta 2 and all the other updates. Now let's talk about what is new. There is quite a lot of new features. Like I mentioned before, I am not running the iOS 26.2 Beta 2 update. I will install it at Beta 4, but to show you, I do have the developer beta. This is it right here. But as far as what new features are in iOS 26.2 Beta 2, well, there aren't that many features, so we are going to do a recap of Beta 1. There are some features, and I will mention those as well. One of my favorite features in iOS 26.2 Beta 2 is with the lock screen. You have a slider, kind of like how you have to make the time thinner or thicker. You have a slider to adjust the transparency of liquid glass within the clock app, or the clock on the lock screen, rather. You can adjust the transparency. Though I do have a concern about this, is if you adjust the transparency extremely dark, the clock will become hard to see. Hopefully, Apple changes that slightly and makes it and dims the wallpaper so you can see the clock, and maybe puts an outline around the clock so that you can see it as well. Or maybe Apple might keep it this way. But if they do, if you have a super dark wallpaper or a super bright wallpaper, you're probably not going to see it. And we do have updates with chapters and podcasts and different links as well. The news app gets updates where we have a tab bar with Apple News Sports. This entire tab bar down here in 26.1 is now moved to the top. They did this with the Mail app as well. Now, you also have an update to Freeform where you can sort of create different tables. You have that update as well. And also urgent reminders. But this is an update within 26.2. Animations gets an update, though you're probably not going to see it. Animations now sort of pop out in iOS 26.2, though you're probably not going to tell, as I'm on 26.1, so there are some updates. Now, if I go into measure here, if we go into measure, we give it a second to load. Let me just get this set up really quickly. It seems like I have to do this every time I go into the app. Well, I'm not going to quite get into that, but there is an update in measure. The update here is with liquid glass. You can see here they added some kind of bubbles to the measure app when you rotate the iPhone with liquid glass. And that is honestly a really nice change. As far as anything else from Apple, if we go into the calendar here, well, next week I would expect iOS 26.2 Beta 3. Honestly, it is a good thing that we did get this update today so that we can have Beta 4 around the week of December 1st. Since Apple started testing iOS 26.2 betas a little later than usual due to the fact that iOS 26.1 released in November, which was the first time we've ever had a 0.1 release in November that I can remember, because all the updates, all the 0.1 updates, iOS 15 to iOS 18, all released in October. This is the first time where it didn't. But going in the calendar, we can see Beta 2 or Beta 3 on the 17th, hopefully the week of the 17th. I would not expect the beta the week of the 24th. In fact, I would expect Apple to skip that week completely. Reason being is because that week is Thanksgiving, with Thanksgiving being on Thursday, November the 27th. So I would expect that week to be entirely skipped, with December 1st, the week of December 1st, where Beta 4 will be released. That is when I will install iOS 26.2 Beta 4, and I will talk about some updates with that beta. Then, the week of December 8th, I would expect an RC rather, with a final release sometime around December 15th. Then iOS 26.3, no betas after that until January, with beta 2 of 26.3. So I will keep you guys posted on the new updates. And also, November 16th is less than a couple of days away. In fact, it is this Sunday. And I will have my 1-year anniversary live stream, which is currently taking place. Ask me questions as it is. That's currently taking place right now. Supposed to be a Q&A, but if I don't get any questions, that's not a problem, as I'm still going to go live for the 1-year anniversary of me being on YouTube. So you will see a live stream either way at 8 p.m. Central Time on November the 16th. As far as what else we can expect from Apple, well, that's really it. iOS 26.2 is a really great update. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. My name is Mr. Hawkins with Hawkins Tech, and I'll see you guys later. So those are some of the videos that I cover on this channel. And just to show you guys my iPhone 12, this is my iPhone 12. I'm just gonna take it out of the case quickly here. As you can see, this is the iPhone 12. I can't really show you guys the sides of it quickly, but I will take pictures of it. Okay. I probably won't be able to show the top. But this is what the back of it looks like here. As you can see, it's the product red color with the Apple logo on the back. And I've been using this device for about 3 years. And here's what the side looks like here. Here's the other side. But I am planning on getting a new phone. And I know I've said that a lot of times. But I am for sure planning on upgrading. I am definitely planning on getting me a new iPhone. I'm choosing between the iPhone 14 Pro, 15 Pro, or the 16, or even the 16 Pro if possible. Or I might just go for the iPhone 16e. Now, last year I was supposed to upgrade. I didn't get to do that yet, as I'm still hoping to get me something new that you guys will be able to see on this channel, as I'm going to unbox it for you guys. But this is the iPhone 16e. And of course, using Google Gemini, I AI generated a picture of me holding this device. Here is the single camera, the flashlight. So that is me holding the iPhone 16e. That is an iPhone that I'm planning on getting for the channel. Here's another picture. So I'm also on TikTok and Spotify with podcasting. I'm going to mute it for 1 second as I'm going to access TikTok. Okay, so this is my TikTok channel. It is Hawkins Tech on TikTok here. And currently I have 63 followers. Now, this is a video I uploaded of me riding in a Honda Ridgeline. And it is a decent, fast vehicle. And here is another video I uploaded. Hi, everyone. Mr. Hawkins with Hawkins Tech. And tomorrow is the day. But here are some tech videos that I'm usually uploading on TikTok here. Apple just released iOS 26.1 Developer Beta 4. I will have a video. And then here is the one for 26.2 betas. Apple released iOS 26.2 Beta 1. I already have a full video on my YouTube channel that I made earlier. Apple released iOS 26.2 Beta 2 to developers and public beta testers. So I currently have 68 videos on TikTok and 63 followers. Now, I believe I talked about my interest in why I am interested in Apple so much on some of my other live streams, but I'm going to recap it. And I am definitely going to talk about my 12 Pro Max. You guys seen it on my live stream during the summer. So my first iPhone was an iPhone 6 Plus in 2018. Now, at the time, I didn't know anything about Apple products, not as much as I do now. In 2018, I was using that device, and I also had two other Androids, a phone and a tablet. A year later, I got the iPhone 7. Now, the 6 Plus I was using, I didn't keep for long because I didn't know much about iPhones at the time. And one of the main reasons I was using it is I wanted to see what iOS was like. I didn't even know it was called iOS, but I found that out whilst using it. But I did not know the version it was running. If I had to guess, probably iOS 10, because the video player was updated in iOS 11 to the current video player, then which was re-updated in iOS 16. But on that device, Siri stopped working. And I did not know anything about iPhones in 2018. I thought the device had issues with the volume, and I do not remember the story of what happened exactly to that phone. But I will say this, I wish I would have kept it. I believe I probably given it away to another family member or something like that. Didn't know anything about iPhones. But I do regret that. A year later, that was my Temu notification. A year later, I got the iPhone 7 Plus, which was a phone that one of my brothers used to own, then I owned it. It wasn't my main phone. I was using that phone, kind of like with the 6 Plus. But I decided to keep it for a while. 2020, I had service put on that device, and then it became my main iPhone. A year later, I got the 12 Pro Max. I only got to keep that phone from July to March, because that is when that situation I talked about on the live stream. And let me try to find that live stream. And today Apple released iOS 18.2 RC2. This was surprising. Specific detail. Okay, so for my live stream for my 7th-month anniversary video, I explain why this iPhone is locked. I updated it, had some issues, had to reset it, and I did not know the password for my Apple ID. And unfortunately, that is what locked it. 2 months later, I ended up getting the iPhone that I still use 3 years later. It is the product red 64 gig iPhone 12. And I took a picture of that device and I put it on my X account, X formerly Twitter. This is my iPhone 12. And I also took a picture of the 2020 iPad Air, the one that you guys can see here. Now, I've had these devices for about 3 years. And I am definitely planning on upgrading. I'm definitely planning on upgrading to maybe the iPhone 14 or 16e. Now, if I go into Best Buy here, you may hear a little background noise. iPhone 16e. This is the iPhone I'm planning on getting. As you can see, it's $599.99, but if I get it through a carrier, it will be significantly cheaper, as low as $99. So I am planning on upgrading this year. And I also have another device. Just give me 1 second here. Here is another device. This was my first iPad. It is the iPad 7th generation. I got this in 2020. Had it up until 2022. Right around the time my 12 Pro Max locked on me. And the same thing happened with this device, though it didn't lock. It was able to be factory reset. But I took the chance and upgraded to the 2020 iPad Air. So far, it seems like I haven't gotten any more comments as of yet. Well, now I'm going to talk about my journey of being a YouTuber. There is a lot of tech YouTubers out there that I like to watch on YouTube. There's quite a lot of them. who cover iOS updates and different things like that. And now I am one of those people who cover software updates. So we're going to watch some of my older videos here. Mr. Hawkins here. And since the introduction of iPadOS 18, it brought a new Photos app. But in this video, I will be showing you how to organize your Photos app, because some people do not like the change in the Photos app. They think it's a really big mess. Personally, I like it, but if you don't, I'm going to show you how you can organize the Photos app. So what you want to do is open the Photos app. Now, on iPad, because it's a bigger screen, you have a I'll just pull up the one I did on my iPhone here. Hi, everyone. Mr. Hawkins with Hawkins Tech. And since the introduction of iOS 18, the Photos app has seen one of the biggest redesigns that Apple has ever created. However, some people think it is sort of a messy experience and they just don't like the Photos app altogether. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to clear up all of that. Now, me personally, I do like all of this stuff. I think it's a really nice look to the Photos app. And I think Apple did a very good job redesigning this. But some people do think it's quite messy. And there is a way to have a cleaner look. But first, taking a look at the Photos app here, in the top right corner, you have your account, which on iOS 17, you pretty much never had before, where it shows the number of photos you have, all of your different options, and syncing with iCloud. It also shows as well. You also have a select button where if you want to select different photos, you can. You also have a search button. If you want to search for photos, you can do that as well. Now then, if you want to have a cleaner overall look and you don't want to have all of the photos or all of the options, simply scroll down to the bottom and you'll have an option that says customize and reorder. Now what you want to do is you want to click that option and you basically want to deselect every single toggle that is here until it looks similar to this. Now let me check how many subscribers I have, because every time I do a live stream, that gets me more subscribers. I would hope that we can reach 400 subscribers on the live stream here. Open YouTube Studio. So taking a look here. Well, I currently have 388 subscribers. So I guess I can just talk about what inspired me to even start this channel. I'm going to go deep into talking about what inspired me, because do I have regrets? Most certainly. I have regrets for not starting it sooner, is my biggest regret of all. And that's really the only regret. I wish I had started this channel a lot sooner, because I started on iOS 18.1. That's what I started on. It would have been good to cover iOS 17 updates, iOS 16 updates, even iOS 15 updates around the time is where I got this iPhone 12. But I started on iOS 18. Now, at first I was nervous to launch a YouTube channel, as I didn't know a ton about being a YouTuber. But try it out. And I'm really glad I did, because it's been a year since creating this channel. And honestly, this is only the beginning of what I have to offer for this channel. Now, I am looking forward to getting some unboxings. I didn't get to do that for the year that I've been on YouTube, but there's always an opportunity for me to do that. There's always an opportunity for me to get a new iPhone and unbox it on the channel. Even if I don't get to unbox it on the channel, I can unbox it maybe at the store and upload it as a YouTube short. Or maybe I'll just post a picture of the box on my YouTube community page if I can't unbox it, and then just go home, set it up, and do a review on the new iPhone. I know I've been saying that I'm going to have a new phone to review on this channel, and I haven't done it yet. It's still in the process. I'm still waiting for it to happen. I can't predict when it's going to happen. I'm just waiting for it to happen. But trust me, when I do upgrade, the first thing I'm going to do after setting up this device, or that device rather, is have a review video. So whether it's the iPhone 14 Pro, the 15 Pro, the 16 Pro, or their non-Pro models, I will review them on my channel and make videos and content from them. Even if it's the iPhone 16e, the budget-friendly iPhone 16e, I will review that on the channel. And you guys will get to see it. Now, I was looking on third-party places such as Walmart or Temu to see if I can get an iPhone. And I have found iPhones, and I've showed it in community posts and videos, but I recently took something into consideration. Those are great deals, but most likely those iPhones are going to have displays that are non-Apple genuine. And what that means is things such as promotion on the newer phones, iPhone 13 Pro and newer, is not going to work. And that's basically what makes the phone the phone. If you have an iPhone 13 Pro, you're pretty much going to think it's a 12 Pro Max if you don't pay attention to that smaller notch and you put a case on it. Because you're not, that one feature might be missing, which is 120 hertz ProMotion. If you have the 14 Pro, one of the best features that is on that phone, two of the best features, I should say, the always-on display and the dynamic island, is not going to work properly because of the non-genuine display that is on that phone. That is why I take into consideration having Apple genuine displays on the iPhones. Though, if I were to get one of those phones, then an appointment would be made and I would go to Best Buy and have an Apple genuine display put on there. But I am planning on upgrading this year. I have a lot in store for 2026. That year is going to be really interesting, hopefully, of iPhone upgrades. Now, the iPhone 12 is still a capable phone. There is nothing wrong with the 12. And I showed it off in the videos. I've done many reviews on the iPhone 12.
If you're starting your holiday shopping,
Should should you buy the iPhone 12 going into 2026? And is this device still worth it? Hi everyone, Mr. Hawkins with Hawkins Tech. And in this video, I'm going to talk about if the iPhone 12 is still worth it going into 2026. I'm going to talk about how my iPhone 12 has held up, which is this one here, and what things you should consider. Now, as far as the overall design of the iPhone 12, this device does feature the squared off edges. This does have the squared off edges here. And this phone does also have flat sides as well. As far as the front, we are looking at a notch. And this is a 60 hertz display. As far as the overall animations, well, the animations on here are pretty smooth for the most part. And I am running the latest version of iOS. Currently, iOS 26.1 release candidate. And as far as performance, the iPhone 12 performs exceptionally great. If you do some scrolling, everything is nice and smooth. Now, as far as the cameras on my iPhone 12, let's go ahead and take a look at those. Here I am recording off of the 12 megapixel. It does have really good cameras. Hopefully you guys can see this. This is an f1.6 aperture. There's no snow in the area. I believe it snowed probably the next day. And the ultra wide, next week rather, which gets a wider field of view. This camera is an f2.4. Here I am recording off of the front-facing camera on the iPhone 12. This is a 12 megapixel camera with an f2.2 aperture. So the iPhone 12 does have great cameras. The cameras on here are really great. But some of the newer phones do have better cameras. As far as the display, we still do have the notch on this device, but this is also a 60 hertz display. Some of the newer iPhones have 120 hertz ProMotion, but scrolling on here is pretty great. Now, as far as software version with this particular device, I am running the latest version of software here of iOS 26.1 RC. If I go into it here, you can see the build number of 23B82. That's the build number, and I'm currently running that on my iPhone 12. And iOS 26.1 RC does perform pretty great. Of course, I have the feedback app here, as the RC is still considered a beta. Now, as far as the storage on this device, or the speakers rather, on this particular device, I will go to one of my videos here. I will go to one of my YouTube shorts. There we go. The top new features in iOS 26.1 RC. If I go into settings here, I will say, now as far as storage and performance, I did not monetize my channel. I don't believe I did. I'm not making money, so I don't know why there is advertisements on my videos. But I guess that could happen to any YouTuber regardless of them making money or not. But I don't know. Or processing power, rather. Well, first, let's start with processing power. The iPhone 12 features the A14 Bionic processor with 4 gigabytes of RAM. And ideally, 4 gigabytes of RAM. It's not great here in 2025 because I would be doing something on another app. And as soon as you know, there you just saw how the RAM works on this particular device. Apps will reload quicker, and it can be frustrating at times. But that will show you that this iPhone does struggle to keep up with certain things. But if we do some scrolling on Apple's website, and we take a look at the nice new tab bar in Safari, I really like it quite a lot. That is the Apple's iPhone 17 Pro Max. Scroll pretty good. In cosmic orange. We go into the page, give it a second to load. It does load up pretty great. But if you're off of it for a little bit, you will see the RAM limitation. And it does load up fast, but having to reload constantly, it can be annoying at times. And for whatever reason, it is not letting me close. So apps do have to reload quicker, but if I go into Geekbench 6 and I check my recent scores that I've done, I ran one today for my iOS 26.1 follow-up video I did. And if we take a look at it here, if I go to November 1st here, I scored 2006 single core, 4562 multi-core. And here's the one from last week. 2044 single core, 4665 for multi-core. That is on my iPhone 12. Now, as far as the storage on this device, this is a caveat that is very unfortunate because the iPhone 12 starts with 64 gigs. And on iOS 26.1 Beta 4, my storage was jumping around quite a lot. Right now, my storage is at 19.44 gigabytes. I've seen my storage go as low as 12 gigabytes sometimes. Well, not that low, but 13 gigabytes. And it's jumped around quite a lot. I've offloaded apps, and it still did that. And that's why I'm planning on buying a new phone. The 16E, 15, 14, they're Pro models. I'm considering an upgrade this year. I've always kept around the same amount of apps, around 37 apps, as iOS 26 automatically can offload apps. Because I guess that's the new feature in iOS 26. But if I check my iPhone storage and give it a second to load, we have 44.44 gigabytes of 64 gigabytes used. And that is on my iPhone 12. And YouTube is currently taking up 2.32 gigabytes, while TikTok and Gmail is taking up 1.96 gigabytes and 688.5 megabytes. So if you are considering the iPhone 12, there is one thing that I would ask of you, and that is to not go for the 64 gig model. Now, thankfully, out of the 3 years I've had this device, I've not ran out of storage, but I would not recommend the 64 gig iPhone. Instead, I would recommend going for the 128 gig model. And the same goes for the iPad Air 4th generation, which I'm recording off of. And I have another video tomorrow or at some point for the iPad Air being worth it going into 2026. But as far as the iPhone, well, software-wise, this iPhone is still good for another year. You could use it in 2026, but I would not, if you have all the money in the world, obviously get the 17. That's a way better iPhone than the iPhone 12. If I could go for the iPhone 17, obviously I would have the new iPhone 17. But I am trying to upgrade because battery life is the next thing we're going to get into. And it's not great on this iPhone. I went over my battery health in my earlier video I uploaded today. But just to recap, I have 80% battery health, which, if you know, that is right at the threshold when your battery is due to be replaced. And with that battery health, I get 3 hours, 17 minutes screen on time, 41 minutes screen off time. I believe when I checked it in the video, it said I had 1 hour. Sometimes the battery information is a slightly incorrect on here, but generally I do not get good battery life on my iPhone 12. Now, this is the case I've been using this device in, and it does hold up pretty good. The body of this phone holds up great. It's the product red color. Of course, the iPhone 12 comes in 5 other colors: blue, green, black, white, and purple. And product red is one of the colors on the iPhone 12. Now, as far as if you should buy this iPhone and what's the price of it, well, generally, you can find an iPhone 12 for around $150 to $280, or sometimes around the $300, depending on if it's unlocked in good condition, 64 gig to 256 gig. And those two storage options, 128 and 256, I would strongly consider you go for if you're getting an iPhone 12. I would not recommend going for the 64 gig model. I strongly recommend against that model. That is just not enough storage, even if you know how to manage it and if you've never run out of storage. It's very important that you have a lot of storage because software updates can be really big, especially major ones. Luckily, I offload apps, but getting iOS 26.1 RC on here, I did not get any low storage messages, but I still offload apps because with big updates, my iPhone storage jumps in the single digit numbers, around 5 gigabytes, and then you have to offload apps. So if you're buying an iPhone 12, I would strongly recommend against the 64 gig option. Go for the 128 gig option or the 256 gig option if you can. Those are far better storage options than the 64 gig option on the iPhone 12. And another thing, if you are considering buying an iPhone, there are better recommendations I would go for. The iPhone 12 is a good phone. That is definitely why I would recommend against the 64 gig iPhone. I am trying to get a new phone as it is. The 16E is what I'm trying to go for because it's a good thing that live streams don't take up storage, but I can't do a live stream every time I want to make a video because you never know what could happen, and it's just better to edit the video. But I am planning on buying or getting a new iPhone. I'm trying to get the 16E or the 14 or something newer. But it does have a lot of compromises, and for that, I would recommend going for a different device. I do love the look of this iPhone. It does look pretty good, but I would recommend going for an iPhone 15 or an iPhone 14. Those are newer devices. When I get the chance, you guys already know, I will be upgrading and you guys will be the first to see my video on the iPhone 14 or iPhone 14 or whichever iPhone I end up with. As far as this phone in 2026, honestly, it's still a usable phone. It has a lot of life left in it. When it stops receiving updates after iOS 27, you can expect that this phone will get patch updates like 27.7.3 or iOS 27.8.1 or 27.8.12. It will get those patch updates, those security bug fix patch updates, but it's not going to get the major updates like newer phones will get. And another thing, with older phones that are no longer supported, eventually you're going to run into app compatibility issues where it will say a message like your iPhone or this app requires you to have a certain version of iOS. Like if you're using an iPhone 7 and you try to download the latest version of YouTube, it might require you to be updated on a newer version, as the iPhone 7 is still on iOS 15, as it cannot update to iOS 16 or later. So that's why, if you're considering this phone, if you want a phone for at least a year, and you want a new phone for a year, and then you're planning on upgrading next year in 2027, after 2026, then the iPhone 12, without a doubt, is the best choice. But if you want to get something for years to come, I would strongly recommend going for an iPhone 15, as that is a far better phone than the iPhone 12. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. My name is Mr. Hawkins with Hawkins Tech, and I will see you guys in my next video. Peace. Should you buy an iPad Air 4th generation going into 2026? Hi everyone, Mr. Hawkins with Hawkins Tech. And in this video, I'm going to talk about the iPad Air 4th generation going into 2026, and talking about, is this a good device to buy and things you should consider. Now, starting with the overall design, the iPad Air 4th generation has a squared off design here. We kind of have the same flat sides as we do on the iPhone 12. And looking at the back here, we do only have one camera and we only have two speakers. I believe we have a top speaker and a bottom speaker. And this one is finished in the space gray finish. This has the space gray finish, and this is my iPad Air from 2020. It's held up exceptionally well. I've had this iPad for 3 years. I currently got a comment here. Oh, well, I'm hoping I am close to 400. I'm going to check that right now. It would be absolutely amazing if I can get to 400 subscribers right on the live. Well, yeah, I'm close. I got 389. I'm going to be live streaming for another hour, so I think at 10 p.m. I'm going to end the stream. It's currently 9:06 p.m., so I'm going to live stream until 10. I'm going to try to go until 10 p.m. And it has held up pretty great. Now, looking at the front of the device, looking at the screen, this does have a screen protector, and the light reflects off of this here. But the screen on this device, I believe, is a 60 hertz panel. And I think this thing might only get 500 to 600 nits of brightness. I don't know exactly, as I would have to do a little research on that. But this device is typically not that bright outside, just like the iPhone 12, which I am recording off of. Now, as far as unlocking, this has Touch ID in the power sleep wake button. So if I turn it off here, now you can also press the button and swipe up to unlock. Let's do it again. Press the button and swipe to unlock. Now, as far as the cameras on this iPad, I will record from those and show you what they're like. Here I am recording from the 12 megapixel f1.8 aperture of my 2020 fourth generation iPad Air. One thing about this device is it doesn't have night mode like the iPhone 12, which is the device I was recording off of. It doesn't have night mode like that device, but it does have great cameras. Here I am recording off of the 7 megapixel front-facing camera, which is an f2.2 aperture. This camera is good for what it does, but there are iPads that have better cameras. And the iPad Pro and the newer Airs are definitely a good exception. They have center stage, and I believe the iPad 11th generation as well has better cameras, but this will get the job done for creating a TikTok. I've even filmed a couple of YouTube shorts propping this iPad up in portrait mode for a couple of my short videos covering iOS 26 updates. So this iPad honestly does have excellent speakers. Now, as far as the software that I meant to say running, excellent cameras. Well, it's running the latest version of iPad OS 26.1. And we have updates. Like, for example, if I press and hold on the... Take a look at this here. Light buttons here. We now have slide over back, but it doesn't bring up like another app. Say if I open up Calculator, for instance, or for whatever reason it's not quite working. But say if I open up maybe Mail. Definitely got to mute the advertisements you really so I don't get copyrighted. To appear as book. You see that you really have Mail. You see that you really have to get the app to appear, as both apps do not go in slide over. But we also can press exit slide over here, or that's not exiting. So we do have slide over back on the iPad. Now, as far as the display, well, this iPad, as I mentioned before, this does have a 60 hertz screen. So unlike the iPad Pro, which has a 120 hertz ProMotion display, this device has a 60 hertz screen. Now, you won't really notice a difference if you're used to it like me, but if you're coming from a 60 hertz or a 120 hertz screen, then you probably will notice a difference. But as far as processing power, we're looking at the A14 Bionic chip with 3 gigs of RAM, which is honestly okay in 2025, but I would say this iPad has the same limitations as the iPhone 12 when it struggles to keep things in RAM. And even when trying to open up 5 windows in Stage Manager, the apps will get frozen in the background. I've showed this off on many videos, though I'm not going to do it on this video, but taking a look at my latest Geekbench score, I scored 2121 single core, 5099 for multi-core. And this was taken on iOS 26.1 or iPadOS 26.1 RC. So this does have the A14 Bionic processor with 4 gigabytes of RAM. Now, as far as the case of this device, this is the case that I've been using this device in. It is a folio case. Now, the case itself does have some wear and tear. If I can prop it up right here. Now, taking a look at this case here, it does have some wear and tear. You can see part of it is peeling off here. That is wear and tear, as I've had this case for about 3 years. Now, as far as the speakers on this device, let's go ahead and go to my YouTube channel so that I can give you guys a sound test here on to how the speakers has held up on this particular device. Would have 2 apps side by side in slide over. It's not like that with iPadOS 26.1 like it was in older versions. Now, back within settings. So the speakers do hold up pretty good on this 2020 iPad Air. Now, as far as the storage and the pricing, that is a caveat that I have to also say for the iPhone 12. Now, with the iPhone 12, there is an in-between storage option, 128 GB. Now, if you're considering the iPad Air, prices can typically go from $200 to $360, depending on if it's in good condition or if it's used. But I probably would recommend a newer model, as the storage on this device is not that great. You only have 2 storage options with this iPad, 64 or 256. Now, if you do go for this one, I would recommend going for the 256 GB model. That would be a better storage option to go for because you will have more storage to do more things. I do edit my videos on here using CapCut, and luckily, it doesn't take up a ton of storage, but there were times where my storage definitely jumps around on this device. So that is an unfortunate caveat. I strongly recommend you go for a higher storage model. If you can, even a newer iPad. Probably the iPad Air 5th generation, as this one You can use it and it will run perfectly for day-to-day tasks, but the A14 struggles to do most demanding tasks, especially with the 3 gigs or the 4 gigs of RAM that both the iPhone 12 and the iPad Air, which is this one, has, as it will struggle and apps will reload, and that can be frustrating. So if I go into Photos, let's see if that reloaded. You can see there, well, it didn't quite reload, but apps can reload because of the RAM limitation on this device. So if you're considering an iPad Air, go for the 5th gen. This one is a very great device. Limitations to be aware of. Device, but it does have some limitations to be aware of. And the limitations are with the RAM and the storage. As far as anything else with this iPad, well, honestly, this could be, and it probably will be, a good iPad going into 2026 because this device is still getting support and will continue to get support for at least one more major iOS version, which is iPadOS 27 in June 2026. Now, hopefully next year, I do get to upgrade this iPad, maybe go for an iPad 11th generation. But honestly, I just want to get this iPhone upgraded so I can get something new on the channel for you guys. I know you guys are probably tired of seeing the iPhone 12, but right now, that's typically my main device. But when I do get something newer, you guys will be the first to see it. As far as anything else with this device, well, honestly, it is a good iPad. But if you have all the money in the world, I 100%, without a doubt, recommend you go for the M5 iPad Pro. But if you don't have all the money to spend, a refurbished iPad Air from 2022, the 5th generation model, probably is the better one to go for. It has an M chip, more RAM, the same storage option, but you can go for the 256 gig model. It is a better option than the Air 4. If you have an Air 4 and it works, keep it. But if you are wanting to upgrade, I say iPhone 12, iPad Air 4, A14 Bionic chip. This is the year to upgrade. If you've been holding on to your devices, the iPhone 12, the iPad Air, for 3 to 5 years, like me, then this is honestly the year to say you're going to upgrade and go for something newer. As hopefully soon, I will be able to upgrade and get the iPhone 15. And if I do, you guys, without a doubt, will be the first to see it on the channel. My name is Mr. Hawkins with Hawkins Tech. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next video. I could watch. Hi, everyone. Mr. Hawkins with Hawkins Tech, and iOS 26 has been out for about nearly 2 months at this point. And I did review the Samsung Galaxy A15 and talk about if it's worth it in 2026. Everyone, Hi everyone, Mr. Hawkins with Hawkins Tech, and in this video I'm going to be talking about if the Samsung Galaxy A15 is worth considering in 2026 or going into 2026. I'm going to go over the specs, how it's held up, and things you should know about this device. Now, let's start with the design. Now, I have reviewed this device extensively on my channel. This is not my main phone at all. This is my brother's Samsung Galaxy A15. But I have reviewed all. This is my... Okay, so... If I'm being honest, I have to go with Apple on this one, but I do love the look of Samsung One UI 8 is a really nice update. Samsung's One UI update reminds me a lot of iOS 18 and iOS 17. On the channel a couple different times, and more recently I had a video on this same device of the update, which is One UI 8.0, which released for the Samsung Galaxy A15. If I go over, and I did record that video in my other office here. As you see, I have this remote to where I can change the color of the lights. It's a second studio for me. Now, you guys have seen a tour of my office. I've done a video on the Amazon Fire Stick. Oh, and I got a new gaming chair. But if you guys want to see a quick review of the Amazon Fire Stick, here is I don't know why it's, I'm going to skip that. I have reviewed this on the channel. I believe I made a video back in June about it. Or it could have been May. To my YouTube channel here. Give it a second to load. I don't know why it's giving me that error, as I am connected to Wi-Fi here. So if you go into it here. In fact, I might pull up that video after this one. I might watch half of this video here. Probably a couple videos down. And I posted that video about 6 days ago, so almost a week. So this device is running One UI 8.1 or 8.0 rather. Now, as far as the overall design, well, hold on, let me check this live stream really quickly here. Well, that's good to know. Hopefully you enjoy my channel. And let me check YouTube Studio. And we're close. We're getting there. The record is to get to 400 subscribers on live. I'm hoping we can do it. We'll have to see before 10 p.m. It's currently 9:26 p.m. So we'll have to see if we can get to 400 subscribers right on the live stream. But if we do, then, or if we don't, then I can always do another live stream for the 400 subscriber anniversary. Though I may just make a video for it. This phone has the pointy notch. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, let me turn off dark mode so you can get an overall understanding. There we go. And now let me go into my settings here. Wherever I have it here. So if we take a look at it here, you can see that this is one of those phones that has the pointy notch. Now let me re-enable dark mode here. And you can see the control panel in One UI looks so much like iOS 18 and iOS 26. More like iOS 26. But there has been lots of updates to the control panel here in One UI 7. Or 8.0 here. Now that slider to swipe to close apps reminds me a lot of iOS. I believe that was updated in One UI 7. The card style app switcher. Well, really the control panel was updated in One UI 7.0. Now, taking a look at the back of this device, it's a typical Samsung where you have your 3 cameras. I believe this is the wide, ultra wide, and macro lens. And I'm going to take a recording and show you guys how they are. Here I am recording off of the main 50 megapixel f1.8 aperture camera on the Samsung Galaxy A15 5G. And we try to go to this is the main camera so far. Here is the ultra wide camera. This is a 5 megapixel and it's an f2.2 aperture here. This is a camera that gets a wider field of view. Here I am recording off of the 13 megapixel f2.0 aperture camera. Let me take a look at that comment here. Right now, I currently don't have a job. I make tech videos currently. On the front of the Samsung Galaxy A15 5G, it's a pretty nice camera. So far we've been live for an hour and 30 minutes. With the rear camera, the background, I just activated the windowing system, can be window mode in the iPad update. I've done live stream and recorded off of the rear camera of this device. So generally speaking, this device has excellent camera. Let me see if we have gotten to 400 or at least a similar number close. Nope, we're still at 391. Now, let me take a look at that comment. I definitely will for a long, long time. I'm just trying to get into some iPhone upgrades. I'm trying to get something newer than the iPhone 12. Right now, I'm deciding between the 14 Pro, 15, or the 16E. I think I'm going to go with that 16E. Probably more affordable. I know it's lacking a couple of features. But one thing it's not lacking is Apple Intelligence. I honestly don't really care that it only has one camera. I think it looks great, to be honest with you. As I'm sure it takes good photos. What I'm just excited for is it's a newer phone, significantly newer. It came out earlier this year. And the best part of all, any updates done to Apple Intelligence is going to be done to this phone, as it has the new Siri animation. It's essentially a cheaper way to get a hold of Apple Intelligence. This is basically a replacement of the iPhone SE line. And now Apple's going based off of the number of the phone and putting the word E at the end of it. So we have the iPhone 16E. The 17E is supposed to come out, I believe, in February of 2026. But I think I'm going to get the iPhone 16E. If I can't, then I'll get the 17E. This device also does have a really great design, where it has the 3 stacked sort of cameras here. And I've already talked about the pointy notch. Now, this is a budget phone, so it's more affordable than the Galaxy S25. I don't know why the notifications. I'm going to try to clear these really quickly. So this is a budget device. So the prices for the Galaxy S25, generally you can find this phone for $169 to $199 for the 64 or 128 gig model of the Galaxy S25. Now, I don't know if Android or even Samsung, this one has expandable storage. I really don't think Androids have expandable storage. If you have a 64 gig model, you probably can expand the storage. iPhone sure doesn't have expandable storage. But if not, then I would stay very, very, very clear of the 64 gig model and would not go for that one. I would recommend you go for the 128 gig option, as you will have more storage. Now, as far as the color options, let's take a look at some of the colors and see if what we can find here. Samsung Galaxy A15 5G colors. So we go into the colors here. These are some of the colors it comes in. I believe we have a black, a bluish gray, a white, and a yellow. There could be some different colors, but leave a comment down below if those are the correct colors, as I believe this one is sort of the bluish gray one. Now, as far as usability in 2026, well, from what I remember, I believe this phone came out in 2023 from the research I've done, though I may have to revisit some of that research. But this phone can definitely be used, and it is a usable device. This phone has gotten, I believe, maybe 4 major updates. I believe maybe from One UI, whatever version of One UI was out in 2023. Seeming that is currently running One UI 8.0 and it got 7.0 this year. I don't exactly remember what it started with, but you probably will get at least a couple more years of software updates, probably more than 1 or 2, probably 4 more years of One UI updates rather. Using this device in 2026. Now, you do have some great customization with One UI 7. The search bar down here is at the bottom here, which makes it easy for one-handed searching. Everything is here at the bottom. And you can see it's kind of difficult to use this with one hand here. Using this one-handedly. So overall, this is a pretty great phone. Now, let's test out the speakers since I haven't got to that yet. And then I'm also going to see what version of software this device shipped with. The icons typically jiggle. Then you have 4 options. You have add widget, customize, edit wallpaper, and edit pages. Customize is the one you want. So this device does generally have pretty decent speakers. So this device has had at least 3 major One UI updates. It shipped with One UI 7, or One UI 6 rather. Then it got One UI 6.1, One UI 7, and now the current software, One UI 8. Honestly, I believe this device will get at least 2 to 3 more years of major software updates. Hopefully, this definitely could be still used going into 2026, as it is a charge up this phone. Device. It's my iPhone and it 12. Probably will definitely last as long as an iPhone. The processor on this, we are looking at the MediaTek Dimensity 6100 Plus processor. And honestly, it does perform pretty good. One thing I like is the update to the press and hold of the side button to activate Gemini. What's the weather in Chicago?
In Chicago, it's 39 and clear. Tonight, the forecast is around 39 degrees and clear.
Pretty great how you can press and hold the side button, which is kind of similar to what you can do with Siri on the iPhone. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video of the Samsung Galaxy A15 5G in 2026. This is a capable phone, and it can definitely be used, but I would stay clear of the 64 gig model. Same thing goes for if you're buying an iPhone 11, iPhone 12. Do not go for the 64 gig model. Go for the 128 gig model, and if you can, just go for a newer phone, like an iPhone 13 or 14, as I'm planning on upgrading hopefully soon to an iPhone 14 Pro or something newer, as I've had my iPhone 12 for 3 years. But if you enjoyed this video talking about the Samsung Galaxy A15, leave a comment down below. What do you think of this device? And also make sure you guys follow me on TikTok, and also follow me on X, because I'm posting there as well now. I am on X, formerly known as Twitter. So make sure you guys follow me on X. The link to it is in the description of my YouTube channel. So make sure you guys follow me on X, formerly known as Twitter, as I currently have 0 followers. So make sure you guys follow me over there. I'm Mr. Hawkins with Hawkins Tech, and I'll see you guys later. So those are some of the newer videos on my channel. I'm not going to react to all of them, but it seems like we're getting close to 400 subscribers. But I will talk about my other channel, Hawkins Tech Vlogs. Now, I wish that YouTube would have a way to where it could read out the live streams, as the live stream comments on here are super tiny. And that's why in past live streams, I've always had to get close to them to see what you guys are saying. But this is my second channel, Hawkins Tech Vlogs. And here is a video I uploaded getting my hair cut here. Here is the finished product.
Yep. I'll get it. Look at that. It's ready. There you go.
Oh, you hate up, Willie.
There you go.
This was taken at Premier Barber Academy, masterpiece, in a town not far from me. I never really said my real name on any of my videos, but now they know. Or at least Hawkins Tech Vlogs, they do.
Yeah, Alan Hawkins.
Here it. So I do have a passion for technology. Technology I'm really interested in. And upgrading this iPhone here. So far, I haven't gotten any newer comments as of yet. But let's see if we get close to 400 subscribers here. So far, I'm still at 391. Hopefully, in the future, YouTube can make updates to where they do live streams. They make the wording on here, the comments section, or the live chat rather, a little bit larger to see. Streams, they make the... This is the live chat right here, which is why I'm watching it back on my iPad. So I am seeing your guys' comments here. So far, I haven't gotten any more comments as of yet. But I do like to drink coffee. That is something about me. I love coffee. And I have an interest for cars. I'm a car person. I do not drive, but I am interested in vehicles. This is a Kia K5 here. And a picture of a Jeep Grand Cherokee. And I did upload a video on my channel, my other channel, of riding in a Honda Ridgeline. Go ahead, rev it. Oh, yeah. Woo! Oh, yeah. What up, everybody? Hi, everybody. So I'm not going to play the whole video, but I uploaded that to Hawkins Tech Vlogs, which is my second YouTube channel. I started that over the summer. But I've come a long way with this channel. I cannot believe it has been a year since I started posting on it. And I know one thing is very certain. I do get a lot of comments. Hi everyone, Mr. Hawkins here. And I've been using it performance, and at the end of the video, I'm going to share the geek. I do get a lot of comments here for the home screen I have, which I haven't changed much. I really am interested in Mercury weather, though I can't do anything with it because it's the free version. Though Snapchat had a darker icon in iOS 18.1, and then they later reverted it back to the original color. I don't know why. But I have a lot of tech YouTubers that inspire me, or did inspire me, to make tech videos. One of the YouTubers I watch is Zolotech, who has plenty more subscribers than me. He has about 1.91 million subscribers, and it's probably going to take me years to get there. But I will get there. Just, it's going to take quite a while. But a lot of tech YouTubers that I watch here inspired me to make my channel. Let me look at this comment here. I don't know the first YouTuber, but I think Jerry Rig Everything is one that's similar to another YouTuber in durability testing iPhones. Personally, I'm not really a fan of seeing iPhone destruction videos. I think I get it, it's a way to test durability, but I'm not entirely a fan of that. As I really love iPhones, not seeing them destroyed, obviously. But I have been on YouTube for an entire year, and I currently have 456 videos. So I am close to 500 videos. And with 91 subscribers. Or 391. Hopefully we can hit a record. But I don't know entirely if we will be able to hit that on the live. I would have to get 9 more people to subscribe to my channel. Let's see if we can get that on the live. So if there are if there's 9 of you guys that are unsubscribed, you guys can subscribe and we can get 400 subscribers on the live stream. Because right now I got 391 and I got to get 9 more people to subscribe to my channel. If there's 9 of you guys. So let me take a look at this comment here. The 12 is a good model, but the storage that it has isn't great. But the iPhone 12 is certainly a great iPhone. It probably will get updates for the next year to maybe 2 years, but I will say when an iPhone stops getting iOS updates, it's never the end of updates for an iPhone. That just means it stops getting major updates, but it will still get updates on, you know, the current software. So when this one ends on iOS 27, it will get updates on 27.7.8 or 27.7.1. That typically never means that this device will no longer get any updates whatsoever, but you will miss out on a ton of features, which is the caveat. You will still get bug fix updates, but you will miss out on a ton of features. So there is quite a lot that the latest updates currently have. And they updated the live stream player because on the iPad, it would play it like a regular video when I have my live chat to the right side. But now they updated it to where you are live and it kind of does what the iPhone does, where it opens up in the YouTube Shorts menu and your live chat is at the bottom. Though that's not really a problem, as I can still zoom in on the live chat and see my comments, as the comments are really hard to see. And that's the thing, I have a hard time seeing tiny things. That's one thing about me. So that's why when I'm looking at a live stream, I have to get super close to see the comments. But unfortunately, it's a paid sort of, I don't know if mobile devices have it where you can read the comments to you, where like a lot of live streams do. They read donations and other comments. But I think you have to have the most high-end setup to get something like that. And I don't know if YouTube Mobile has a feature like that. Unfortunately, I don't think they do. But with the iPad, there's a lot of features I do love. And one of them is the windowing system. I've showed this off many times in iPad OS 26, how we have the green traffic light buttons. And then we can minimize it. This is so much like a MacBook. But this is the updates that Apple did with iPad OS 26. And then we have the red button to close it. And if we want to make the window resizable, using the little grabber down here, so you can definitely resize the windows on the iPad. Let me go back to my live here. I'm on TikTok, but I'm not on Instagram. But I do use X, formerly Twitter. I just started posting on that. I have to figure out how to work Instagram. I don't think I will know how to work it quite yet. Well, we have 1 minute to the live stream, but I'm probably going to go a little bit past 10, probably till 10:03 or something. But this is the first live stream on my channel that is going to be 2 hours long. All the live streams I've did were under an hour, a little over an hour, but they were all not 2 hours. This is going to be the first live stream I did that will be 2 hours long. As I'm going to be, is it will be recording for 119 minutes will be at 10 o'clock. Now let's see if we hit 400 yet. We're currently still at 391. Okay, it has now been 2 hours, but I'm still live streaming here. I know I didn't do a live stream on the 16th of October and the 16th of September, though I did do a live stream in September, and it was the last live stream that was on my channel, and that was for iOS 26 iOS 26 What's New Deep Dive. That live stream was 50 minutes. The one before it, where I talked about Apple's all-dropping event covering the iPhone 17 in Cosmic Orange and all the other iPhone models, was 37 minutes long. But speaking of iPhones, I'm going to go check out Apple's website here. And as you see, I have Safari in the windowing mode. I honestly really love this new windowing system on the iPad. And this is the iPhone 17. I will be absolutely sure that when I get a new phone, even if I can't unbox it on camera, the review video is the top video you guys will see. I will have a review going over the cameras, the specs, performance, price, design. If it's an iPhone 16e, then there will be quite a lot to go over. Well, it is 10:01 when I looked at the time, or it is definitely now 10:01 p.m. And I have successfully live streamed for 2 hours. I'm not going to do this every live stream, but going forward, I will no longer be doing live streams on the 16th of every month going forward. Now, because it has been a year since I created this channel, Hawkins Tech, I will be doing live streams on the 16th of November of every year. So the next anniversary for this channel, in terms of how long I've had it, will be on November 16th, 2026. And also, GTA 6 was supposed to come out on May 26, 2026, but unfortunately, GTA 6 has been pushed to November 19th. But leave a comment below if you guys want to see me play GTA 6. Obviously, I'm going to play it on my other channel, Hawkins Tech Vlogs, as by then I should be able to live stream on that channel. Right now, I don't have enough subscribers to live stream on Hawkins Tech Vlogs, but when I do, I will be live streaming on that channel. And also, I did not get to 400 subscribers on this channel yet on the live stream. But that's going to be it for this live stream. It's been a long journey doing YouTube videos for an entire year now. It's been a long but very good journey. The regrets I have is I wish I would have started this channel a lot sooner. But because of not being motivated enough and being not essentially ready yet, I didn't start it much sooner. But I have it now, and I'm a years deep into posting. I don't know how to live stream on TikTok yet, but I will try to figure that out, because when it comes to the 1 year anniversary on TikTok, I will try to live stream on TikTok for the 1 year anniversary. And also, I did get my hair cut, but you guys saw that in that video from last week. So make sure you guys subscribe to my second channel, Hawkins Tech Vlogs. If you guys want to see like vlog content, I put up a video of me being at a turkey trot at Hunt Club Park in my area, which is in a couple towns from me. And also the Honda Ridgeline test ride video. So make sure you guys subscribe to my second channel, Hawkins Tech Vlogs, and also make sure you follow me on these 3 platforms here, which is Spotify, because I'll be doing podcasts. It's Hawkins Tech. So if you guys want to see my podcast here, I do podcasts on Spotify. Also, make sure you guys follow me on TikTok. If you guys want to see tech videos, and also X, formerly known as Twitter. Make sure you guys follow me. Make sure you guys follow me on X, formerly known as Twitter. I currently only have one follower on that platform. But I am planning on doing a lot. 2026, it will be a year of more video uploads, hopefully new iPhone unboxings. If you guys remember this, of course, the iPhone 14 is not in here. It's just the box. But I am really, really, really considering a new phone. I mean, my iPhone 12 works excellent, but it's time for a new phone because I've had this iPhone for 3 years. The battery life isn't great, and I would still like to keep this device as a side device to test betas, more early stage and late stage, but currently I test late stage betas. So when we get iOS 26.2 Developer Beta 4, I will be installing that iOS beta. So it's been a long journey being on YouTube for an entire year, and I'm so glad that I have done it for a year. But I have many, many, many more videos to come and many years to be on this platform. I'm Mr. Hawkins with Hawkins Tech, and hopefully we can get to 400 subscribers. While we didn't get there on the live stream, which is disappointing, but hopefully we can get there at some point. Hopefully before Thanksgiving, which is on, if I go into my calendar here, the 27th. November 27th is when Thanksgiving is going to take place. So I'm Mr. Hawkins with Hawkins Tech, and let's hope we can get to 400 subscribers. But today, it has made 1 year since I've been on YouTube. That's going to be it for this live stream. And I look forward to getting me a new iPhone. I really, 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 really want to get a new iPhone and unbox it on the channel. I want to get the 16E or the 15 or the 14. I don't really care what phone it is as long as it's something newer than the iPhone 12. I'll even take a 13. It will give me 128 gigabytes of storage and something newer than my iPhone 12. But I'm Mr. Hawkins with Hawkins Tech, and if we get some updates tomorrow, like 26.1.1 or 26.2 Beta 3, I will let you guys know with a video. I will see you guys in my next video. I'm Mr. Hawkins with Hawkins Tech, and I'll see you guys later.